This story revolves around a boy named Shino, a child who once died and then came back to life. But his revival came at a terrible cost. To survive, Shino had to allow a demon named Karasuma to reside inside his body. Because of that demon's influence, Shino's body stopped aging, trapping him forever in the form of a child. One day, the Imperial Church discovers the truth, that the very demon that they have been searching for is hidden inside Shino. Determined to claim Karasuma, they launch an attack on Shino and his brother. During this chaos, Shino's sister is also kidnapped. Now the question is, will Shino be able to save his sister? And what exactly does the Imperial Church want from the demon inside him? The story opens with a horrifying sight. An entire village lies in ruins, completely destroyed, with flames burning everywhere. Among the survivors are Shino and his siblings, all victims of this tragic disaster. Shino himself has lost everything. Overwhelmed with despair, he feels his life slipping away. His sister Hamaji desperately tries to wake him, while his brother Kosuke lies unconscious nearby. As Shino relives the final moments of his life, a mysterious man suddenly appears. This stranger offers Shino a second chance at life, but it warns him that reviving will require bending the rules of existence itself. Years pass. We next see Shino living peacefully, playing in a forest. When he calls out, a crow appears. This crow is Karasuma. Shino soon realizes that something strange is lodged inside his mouth, a bizarre creature he manages to get rid of. After that, he returns to the church, where he and his family have been living ever since the tragedy. At the church, Hamaji prepares coffee for everyone. Meanwhile, Shino notices that Kosuke is missing. It turns out Kosuke has gone to a nearby village to deliver supplies. Elsewhere, we meet a boy named Kenta, who is being violently beaten by his father for burning his books instead of studying. Kosuke intervenes and stops the abuse. As Kosuke heads back toward the church, Kenta insists on accompanying him, and the two set off together. As they pass through the forest, villagers whisper among themselves when they see Kosuke. Everyone knows about the deadly disease that wiped out his village, and many fear that Kosuke and his siblings might be infected as well. But Kenta believes differently. He's convinced that Shino and his family are good people. While talking, Kenta accidentally reveals that he once saw Shino playing in the forest. This immediately alarms Kosuke. He strictly forbids Shino from ever entering that forest again, warning that a dangerous darkness lurks there. To protect Kenta, Kosuke even gives him a pendant, an amulet meant to repel the forest's evil. They eventually arrive at the church. Kenta apologizes to Shino for what he said earlier and leaves. Afterward, Kosuke scolds Shino, making it clear that the forest is absolutely off-limits. Meanwhile, Kenta walks back through the forest alone. Suddenly, he sees someone who looks exactly like Shino, but something feels wrong. This Shino is behaving strangely, wearing women's clothes and calling Kenta closer. Kenta quickly realizes this isn't Shino at all. Terrified, he runs away. Back at the church, troubling news surfaces. Shino and Kosuke learn that the Imperial headquarters has discovered Karasuma's existence and may attack at any moment. Why would the Empire be so obsessed with a crow demon? The answer will soon be revealed. In the middle of their discussion, a massive creature suddenly appears at the church window. Everyone is shocked. Shino quickly realizes it's the same creature he discarded earlier, only now it has grown enormous. Elsewhere, we meet Ryo, the same man who saved Shino's life years ago. Ryo learns that the Imperial headquarters has located Karasuma and has already dispatched forces to retrieve him. The next morning, Shino and his siblings are having breakfast peacefully, until demons sent by the Imperial headquarters surround a church. When the fight begins, the demons are stunned to discover that Shino wields Karasuma's power, while Kosuke hosts a wolf demon within himself. Without hesitation, Shino summons Karasuma. The crow emerges directly from his body, revealing its true demonic nature. Using Karasuma's power, Shino shatters the enemy barrier, killing the invading demons instantly. After the battle, everyone returns inside. Kenta arrives and shares terrifying news. People from the village are disappearing, one by one, apparently killed by a monster lurking in the forest. Hamaji immediately goes to inform the father. Kenta then asks Shino if he was in the forest the previous night. Shino denies it, but he understands that what Kenta saw wasn't a ghost, it was a monster. As a result, Kenta is strictly forbidden from entering the forest again. This angers Kenta. The forest path was the only route he used to reach the church and work alongside Kosuke. Furious, he storms off and throws away the pendant Kosuke gave him. The father asks Shino to chase after Kenta, explaining that Hamaji found the pendant and that it was meant to protect him. At the same time, Ryo's companion realizes that Ryo has a personal connection to Shino and his siblings. To force them out, he decides to kidnap Hamaji. Soon after, Kosuke learns about the lost pendant and instantly understands the danger. Kenta has gone into the forest completely unprotected. He rushes out to find them. Shino finds Kenta trapped inside a massive web. Standing before them is a spirit that looks exactly like Kenta. That spirit suddenly transforms into a monstrous creature and attacks. Just in time, Kosuke arrives, fully transformed into his wolf form. He strikes the monster, severely injuring it and saving both Shino and Kenta. The three of them return safely to the church, only to be greeted by shocking new information that changes everything. In reality, the people of the Imperial headquarters had already kidnapped Shino's sister, and if they wanted to rescue her, there was no other option left. They had to go to the city. With that decision made, both brothers prepared themselves for the journey. Before they left, the father revealed something crucial. The enemies they were about to face were not ordinary people. They belonged to the Imperial headquarters, an organization that controlled 4 secret beasts known as gods. These beings were kept under their command so the Empire could manipulate their power and strengthen itself. With no time to waste, Shino and his brother set out to find their sister. Meanwhile, we see Hamaji, who is being held by Osake, Ryo's companion. Strangely, despite being kidnapped, Hamaji is treated like an honored guest. Osake fulfills every request she makes and behaves with unexpected kindness. As they talk, Osake asks Hamaji how she can live happily with her brothers despite being adopted. Hamaji calmly replies that her brothers have always protected her like a real younger sister. That's why she firmly believes, no matter what happens, they will come to save her. Sometime later, Shino and Kosuke finally arrive in the city. There, they encounter agents sent by the Imperial headquarters, who attempt to escort them directly to their leader. Kosuke refuses, insisting that they first check in and handle their belongings. Just as the agents consider forcing the issue, Ryo himself appears and orders them to stand down. The moment Shino sees Ryo, he is visibly shocked. What stands out even more is that Kosuke has no idea who Ryo is, or why Shino seems to recognize him. Ryo then escorts the brothers to their room and reassures them that their sister is safe and that they will meet her soon. After Ryo leaves, Shino slips away alone to explore the city. As he walks through the crowded streets, Karasuma becomes visibly irritated by the overwhelming number of people. Soon after, Shino realizes he's completely lost. He sends Karasuma back to Kosuke so his brother can track him. While wandering, Shino suddenly collides with a man named Kamugi, who crashes down on top of him. Kamugi turns out to be trying to break into a nearby shrine to free his brother-in-law. The shrine guardians refuse, explaining that the one imprisoned inside is no longer human. He has become a demon. As tensions rise, Kamugi's father arrives, apologizes to the shrine, and takes his son away. Noticing Shino lying on the ground, the father grows concerned. Kamugi sees the strange markings on Shino's body and is stunned. Later, Kamugi treats Shino to a meal at a restaurant, using the opportunity to ask him questions. Before he can learn much, Karasuma suddenly appears, shocking Kamugi. His confusion only grows when Kosuke arrives in his wolf form. Kamugi can't understand why a child is accompanied by 2 powerful beasts. That night, we see a monk named Siren standing before the head of the shrine. The head is furious, questioning why Ganpachi is still imprisoned, despite showing no signs of evil. Siren explains that releasing Ganpachi would be disastrous for humanity. In the end, he successfully convinces the shrine head to keep Ganpachi sealed. The next morning, Kosuke wakes up and heads toward the kitchen. At the same time, Shino wakes up to find a massive wolf standing right in front of him. He panics, until he learns it's actually Ryo's secret beast. Moments later, Shino and Ryo come face to face. Ryo is surprised that Shino still recognizes him after all these years. What confuses him is why Kosuke doesn't. Shino explains that Kosuke lost all memories of the tragedy, which is why he can't remember Ryo. Ryo then gets straight to the point. He reveals that the sword he once gave Shino, used to channel Karasuma, is the reason Shino's age stopped completely. Worse, Karasuma is slowly hollowing Shino out from the inside, and one day, it will kill him. Ryo's warning is sincere, but Shino doesn't care. As both of them display their beasts, Kosuke interrupts, stopping the confrontation. Later, Shino storms off after insulting Ryo, while Kosuke tries to question Ryo about their connection, but receives no clear answers. Elsewhere, we see Kamugi with his father, learning the full truth. Komugi wants Gonpachi released for the sake of his sister Rui. His father decides to personally request the church for Gonpachi's release and tells Komugi to stay calm. The story then shifts back to Hamaji and Osake. During their conversation, Hamaji learns that Osake's parents live in the outside world, leaving him isolated and lonely. Deep down, Osake wishes Hamaji could stay with him, but he knows that choice must be hers. Soon, Shino and Kosuke arrive. Hamaji rushes to meet her brothers, and Shino immediately hugs her, asking if the Wolf Clan harmed her in any way. Hamaji reassures him that she's been treated well and has nothing to worry about. Later, Hamaji and Osake go shopping together. Osake does this to make up for keeping her confined for days. Seeing how close they look, Shino mistakenly assumes they're on a date, and he's not the only one. Everyone around them thinks the same. While wandering through the market, Shino senses a powerful demon presence coming from the shrine, Gonpachi. At the same time, Kosuke attracts stray dogs, drawn to his wolf aura. The scene shifts again to Siren, who summons a demon mosquito using his powers. He sends it to Gonpachi, who is chained and sealed. Siren tortures him, trying to force out his true demon form so he can kill it and steal its power. Gonpachi resists with everything he has, desperately holding on to his humanity, doing it all for Noi so he can be released and reunite with her. Back with Hamaji and Osake, Osake grows depressed, knowing she will soon leave and he'll be alone again. Hamaji gently asks if he'll truly be alone after she's gone. Osake quietly answers yes. Meanwhile, Kosuke presses Shino for the truth about Ryo. After repeated questioning, Shino finally reveals everything. 5 years ago, when he was on the verge of death, Ryo was the one who offered him Karasuma. That deal is the reason Shino is alive today. Kosuke is shaken by the revelation. Now he desperately wants to know why Ryo summoned them to the city in the first place. Determined to uncover the truth, he decides to confront Ryo directly. Sometime later, Hamaji and Osake head out shopping again, with Shino and Kosuke accompanying them. But during the trip, Shino suddenly separates from Hamaji. Once again, Komugi accidentally crashes into Shino. This time, Komugi has been desperately begging soldiers to release Gonpachi, but his request is coldly rejected. The soldiers explain that Gonpachi no longer has any official ties to the army, which means they cannot help him in any way. When Komugi notices that Shino is injured again, he becomes genuinely concerned. At the same time, Kosuke is also there and begins asking Komugi how he knows Shino. Seeing Shino hurt, Komugi immediately takes both brothers to his home, hoping to apologize properly. Komugi's mother warmly welcomes them, treating them with kindness. Komugi carefully tends to Shino's wounds, and after some time, he personally escorts the brothers back to the marketplace. As soon as they part ways with Komugi, Shino and Kosuke meet Ryo. Kosuke finally asks the question that's been bothering him. Why did Ryo call them to the city? Without hesitation, Ryo tells them about an ancient legend. Long ago, a guardian created 8 magical orbs and entrusted them to different secret beasts. Over time, all of those orbs vanished. Ryo wants Shino and Kosuke to help locate them and return them to their rightful owners. The moment Shino hears this, he refuses outright. But before Ryo can respond, Kosuke steps forward and agrees to help. After Kosuke leaves, Ryo quietly tells Shino that his brother has changed a lot since the tragedy. He urges Shino to pay attention to that change. But Shino disagrees. He firmly believes Kosuke is still the same person he's always been, and that he doesn't need to change at all. Elsewhere, Gonpachi continues to endure brutal torture. Even Komugi's father goes to the shrine, begging for Gonpachi's release, but no one listens. In the end, Siren increases the torture even further, and this time it works. Gonpachi loses control, awakens his evil form, breaks free, and vanishes. Siren's followers are killed in the chaos, but Siren doesn't care in the slightest. Meanwhile, as the brothers walk through the marketplace, Shino suddenly senses a powerful evil presence. Moments later, he spots Gonpachi and immediately gives chase. Watching Gonpachi leap from one place to another, Kosuke notices them and follows as well. Soon, Shino and Gonpachi come face to face. A brief clash breaks out, but Shino quickly realizes something important. The monster is struggling to control itself. He understands that Gonpachi was once human, just like them. Both brothers decide they want to help him. Before they can act, Siren arrives with his group of monks. His goal is simple: kill Gonpachi. But when Siren notices Shino and Kosuke, he realizes he now has the chance to eliminate 3 demons at once. As Gonpachi loses control, he leaps into the water. Without hesitation, Shino jumps in after him. Kosuke follows immediately. escaping the monks by diving in as well. Elsewhere, Hamaji grows anxious, worried about where her brothers might be. During this time, Osake tells her about a new school she could attend to continue her studies, a decision Hamaji had recently been considering. Back at the river, Shino and Kosuke survive thanks to the same mysterious creature we saw at the beginning of the story. It appears in a combined form, saving them from drowning, and rescuing Ganpachi as well. Ganpachi finally returns to his true form. When Shino regains consciousness, he finds himself at Komugi's house with Kosuke beside him. Soon after, the combined wolf appears again, sent by Ryo himself. Later, Shino and Kosuke join Komugi for breakfast. During their conversation, Komugi learns that the brothers were the ones who saved his friend. Just then, Ganpachi arrives, shocked to learn that after losing control and attacking them, it was those same children who saved his life. Once Ganpachi leaves, Komugi explains what truly happened. Years ago, he and Ganpachi traveled north on a rescue mission. While trying to save a princess, they stayed in the mission area too long. One by one, their comrades died from the freezing cold. Then a monster attacked, killing the remaining survivors. Just as all hope was lost, Ryo arrived from the church, saving both the princess and their lives. However, when they returned home, they learned devastating news. Noi, Komugi's sister, had taken her own life. Ganpachi was completely broken by her death. He attempted suicide multiple times, only to discover that his wounds healed on their own. Shino can't understand something. If Ryo was powerful enough to save the princess so easily, why wasn't he sent from the beginning? Komugi explains that the army never wanted help from the church, which is why they handled the mission alone. After hearing everything, Shino explains why they came to the city in the first place. He reveals that the church is after Karasuma, the demon inside him. Elsewhere, Osake asks Ryo why the church is targeting both Ganpachi and Shino. What Osake doesn't realize is that Ryo already knows everything. Ganpachi later tells Komugi that even after Noi's death, he returned because he considers Komugi and his father his true family, the people who always waited for him. While they're talking, a demon mosquito, secretly sent by Siren, spies on them. Soon, Siren learns their location and mobilizes all his followers to attack. At the same time, Hamaji and Osake are returning home after collecting information about the new school. Suddenly, the mosquito attacks Hamaji, injuring her. Osake immediately realizes who is responsible and storms off to seek revenge. Back at the house, Shino and Ganpachi are talking when they realize they've been surrounded by monks. Their home is set on fire, and moments later, Siren appears. He immediately tells Ganpachi something devastating. Siren claims that Noi never wanted Ganpachi to return from the war. Even though she was supposed to marry him, she had become pregnant by another man during the conflict. When she learned that Ganpachi was still alive and coming back, guilt consumed her, and she took her own life. Hearing this, Ganpachi loses control once again and falls back into his evil form. Because of the curse, Ganpachi had once again fallen into darkness. But this time, instead of holding back, he attacked Shiren directly in a fit of rage. Shiren barely managed to escape with his life and tried to flee the area. That was when Osaki appeared in front of him. Osaki had come there for one reason, to avenge Hamaji. As the two exchanged words, a shocking truth was revealed. Shiren and Osaki were actually brothers. Still, Osaki chose justice over blood. Ignoring their shared past, he declared that Shiren would be punished for his crimes. Meanwhile, the spreading fire began to cause serious trouble. Seeing this, Shino used Karasuma's power to summon rain, extinguishing the flames in an instant. Not long after, Ganpachi was seen returning to his true form. That's when Komugi revealed the truth. He had known everything all along. But he stayed silent because he didn't want his sister to suffer because of it.